Hey, what's going on? This is the Body Punch Podcast. My name is Naz. Let's talk about Conor McGregor's next fight. After the amazing fight between Yair and Max Holloway and a viral video coming out with Conor McGregor pacing back and forth, staring at Max Holloway and kind of imagining himself fighting him again. One of the front runners for the next Conor McGregor fight is Max Holloway. He's talked about it in a couple interviews leading up to his fight against Yair. He talked about it numerous times. He mentioned it a lot. You could see it's something that he's been thinking about for a while. We remember that infamous video of Conor McGregor being interviewed by the UFC Arab team. And then apparently Max Holloway skateboarded right in front of Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor called him out. At that point, Conor McGregor was having the nice guy attitude. It looks like the way that he was pacing back and forth in that video and the way that he's been acting, it doesn't look like he's going to have that same attitude if he does fight Max Holloway again. Another person that's up on the list of fighters that want to fight Conor McGregor and Conor McGregor has been open to on social media is Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler coming off his loss against Justin Gaethje, the spectacular fight in Madison Square Garden that many people were surprised went all 5 rounds. That was a crazy fight, an amazing fight for both fighters who have been in wars like that before. And when we watch them go all out in that fight and put it all on the line, it just showed how special both of them were and how willing they are to do what it takes to win. And not just win, but put on a spectacular show. Because you could see the way that Michael Chandler was egging on Justin Gaethje and trying to unleash that human highlight reel side of Justin Gaethje, where he plays to the crowd, where he would risk it all just to get that amazing highlight. Justin Gaethje is a way more measured these days, and he doesn't get egged on. And one of the things that I was thinking about a lot was how is Justin Gaethje going to react when there's actually a crowd in front of him again? Before, in a couple of the last fights, the Khabib Nurmagomedov fight, in some of the other fights, Justin Gaethje didn't have that crowd to egg him on. And then when he was in front of all those fans in Madison Square Garden, he was able to keep it together. Anyways, enough talking about Justin Gaethje. This is about who's next for Conor McGregor. I think that Michael Chandler and Max Holloway being the front runners, Conor McGregor has to pick between one of those. We still have to imagine that Conor McGregor has a long way to go in his recovery from that brutal leg injury he suffered in the second Dustin Poirier fight. That was a brutal leg snap. We've seen it from a couple of fighters before. Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva, and a couple of other breaks that have happened, not on the leg itself like that, but we've seen breaks in other parts of the body that take a crazy amount of time to just recover, just being able to stand. Chris Weidman and Conor McGregor have shown that they have accelerated that that recovery. Chris Weidman already walking around, Conor McGregor already throwing hands on the pads. He's already training. I haven't seen much footage of him doing road work or anything like that. I imagine that's impossible in the state that he's in. Not that he couldn't do it. I guess he doesn't want to aggravate it. But I think Conor McGregor, let's go through both of these fighters and why he would think that either one of them would be a good idea. Let's start with Max Holloway. Max Holloway, he does have a win over Conor McGregor has a win over him. That was one of Max Holloway's last losses outside of Alexander Volkanovski, the 2 losses there, and the one fight on 155 where he fought Dustin Poirier. Aside from that, the last fight before that was Conor McGregor. He lost him unanimous decision in 2013. Both of these fighters are different fighters, but I feel like Conor McGregor still feels like he has the edge over Max Holloway. The confidence that he has by just winning the first fight is probably immense. Also, it gets the fans behind him. It gives a little bit more push to Conor McGregor, being that he already defeated Max Holloway. It becomes a little bit more reasonable, especially, and then on top of that, you just add the fact that Max Holloway has been demolishing everybody at 145 aside from Alexander Volkanovski. So it makes him a real contender, test, champion, whatever you want to call him. And then in Conor McGregor's mind and in the fans' mind, he's someone that he's already defeated and that he might be able to defeat again. Also, the fact that Max Holloway hasn't, he's had some KO wins, but most of them are coming, 11 of his 23 wins are coming by decision. 10 of them are coming by knockout, but most of the time, the way that we're seeing him take out people, not by TKO or doctor stoppage or anything like that, because that falls in the KO category here on Wikipedia. But the fact is that Max Holloway is not known for his KO power. He's known to put a pace on people, to have that amazing cardio, and really box against his opponent. Conor McGregor's taken a lot of damage in his last couple fights through the leg kick and through the leg injury and a lot more injuries that he's probably sustained from the knockout against Dustin Poirier. All of those combined might make Conor McGregor lean more towards a person who wants to use their boxing. If you look at the Yair Rodriguez fight, yes, Max Holloway threw a couple of kicks, but the stance that he has, the way that he attacks his opponents, the way that he blitzes is perfect for a counter puncher like Conor McGregor, who's one of the best counter punchers in the game. So that might be some of the main reasons why Conor McGregor might feel that Max Holloway is someone he could fight next. Now, most of the things that I mentioned about Max Holloway and why Conor McGregor is interested in fighting him also apply to Michael Chandler. This is someone that fought for the title against Oliveira, lost that, but it still made him highly um, someone up there in the rankings, someone that is believable, someone that came onto the scene in the UFC and really put his mark on the UFC fighters, and really put his mark on um, the way that he just arrived by knocking out Dan Hooker, TKOing him at UFC 257, and also coming from a string of fights at Bellator where he was the face of that organization. He's someone that likes to strike, which Conor McGregor would love. Someone that goes for broke in the first couple rounds, which is also great for Conor McGregor. And I think Conor sees him as a person that he could defeat, someone that likes to play his game, and then also just a name, someone that can really, if Conor goes after him, he can go after him a little bit as well. It'll help the pay-per-view. It'll help his bank account, which we all know he loves. So I think that, and both of these guys play into the game that Conor McGregor wants to play. So I think that's what's going on in Conor McGregor's mind. Obviously, both of these guys are tough opponents. They're no easy outs. I would say that for both of them, Conor would be the betting. Um, he wouldn't be the favorite in either one of these fights. Michael Chandler still has his amazing wrestling skills, where he could bring down Conor McGregor. You could see it in the Justin Gaethje fight that he was willing to use it, even though he said he didn't want to use it. He still was willing to try and take Justin Gaethje down in the Max Holloway camp or in the Max Holloway corner. Max is always in amazing cardio shape, always willing to put a pace on people, and just goes forward, just keeps going forward. After taking the shots that he did in that Rodriguez fight, and the way that he was able to still push forward, I think that in that fight, he was really blitzing forward. That opened him up for a lot of the shots that he took. Now, being able to take those shots at the age of 29 is great. And imagine him blitzing Conor McGregor, just going after him, no matter the shots that he's taking, no matter what's going on, he's still taking those shots and blitzing forward. So I think that he could really put on a pace against Conor McGregor. I think, like I said, in either one of these fights, I think he wouldn't be the favorite. He wouldn't be coming into this fight, and it would be an easy fight for him. This is not an easy fight for anybody coming back from an injury, let alone one of the worst gruesome injuries that the sport has. Who knows what Conor McGregor is going to look like when he comes back? But Michael Chandler and Max Holloway are at the top of the list of who we think and I think he's going to fight next. I don't think it's the best call for either one of these guys, but in terms of name recognition, in terms of talent, in terms of someone that he needs to fight to get to the top or even think about getting back to the top, I think these two are a good fight. I also think that it might put a little bit of a spin on the divisions that they're in. Max Holloway would have to get out of that 145-pound division and fight Conor McGregor. I don't think Conor's ever coming back to 145. So that will be a fight that will have to take place at 155. Michael Chandler, I don't think there will be much of a detour for anybody in that division because Michael Chandler just lost to Justin Gaethje, who Justin Gaethje is apparently going to be fighting the winner of Charlie Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. So I think these are two great fights. Very interesting. I'd put that over anything. I think this is very interesting for Conor McGregor to be prowling around these two fighters, two well-established fighters who are dangerous. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a review, send me an email, all that kind of stuff. Let me know what you think. Who do you think is next for Conor McGregor? And do you think either one of these guys is the right fight for him to come back to? You can write it in the comments, email me, all that good stuff. Like I said, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I really appreciate it. You can also listen to the podcast on the different podcast networks, iTunes, Spotify, all that is good. And then, I think that's it. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to me talk. This has been the Body Punch Podcast. My name is Naz. Bye.